When practicing off in training sessions, we're also doing paws up. So we're cueing her paws up and then off. And when I do off, we're just simply pointing away, no treat in hand because we don't want to be luring her. Point away from where you want her, say off. As soon as her feet are down, we're going to mark yes and reward. There's another example when she's all the way up. If I was coming over to sit down, off, and then reward. Here I've got a bowl with some food in it, trying to practice for her what it's like when we have something to eat on the couch. Ask her to off, reward, and then as long as she stays down there, we're going to periodically reward her so that she understands that when we've asked her to off, we kind of want her to stay down, at least for a while. That way she's not just immediately jumping back up and trying to get another treat for getting off or coming back up to bother you while you eat. So I would just have a few treats on hand when you are going to sit down there, and then be ready to reward her periodically for doing so.
Girl, nice job.
Place means go there, stay there until you are released. Her release word is free, and that means she's free to get up and do what she wants. So here what I'm doing is what I would call a formal training session. I've asked her to place, and then I'm practicing duration, distance, and distraction. So I'm practicing distance from her that I can walk around, distractions, and right now we're starting with small distractions like opening doors, cabinets, sitting down, running across the room, all the different things, dropping items. And then we're also practicing duration between reinforcement, because while she's on place, I'm going to periodically come back and reward her for staying there. This teaches her that treats are not an end to the activity, as well as reinforces her for staying put for longer periods of time. As she gets better at this, you will continue to add duration between each reinforcement until you no longer need as many treats. If she gets up and you did not release her, it's going to be simply sending her back, saying place. Then instead of rewarding right away, you want to go back to whatever it is you were working on, whether that was some more distance or a specific distraction, then come back and reward her. It's important that we make her work for it a little bit so that you don't get stuck in a loop where she gets off just to be sent back to get a treat and repeats that cycle. When you are ready to release her, you say free, and if she gets up, great, and you do not need to reward because the reward is you're free to move at your own free will, and so she doesn't need that reinforcement treat. If she does not move and she stays put, you have two options. You can try to encourage her up with a little bit more excitement if you're trying to do another repetition, or if this is in real time, you can just simply leave her be. You've told her now that she's free to get up whenever she wants, but right now if she wants to continue to lay there, that is fine too. These formal training sessions are just a great way to build in distraction as well as that duration between reinforcement in a really nice, steady way. Another way to practice this is in real context where you would want her to do place. So for this one, we're doing dinner time, as you can see. And in this scenario, I'm doing the training a little differently. So I'm not cueing her to place, because if I cue her to place, I need to be on top of it as far as timing the reinforcement and the right duration that she is needing at that point in time, as well as be ready to send her back as soon as she gets up and release her when I'm done. And when you're trying to do other things, you've got guests over and you're all trying to eat, sometimes that is just too much for you all to do at once. So I call this passive training. And what I'm doing here is we are sitting down for dinner. I put the bed out, and then I will bring treats to the table with me. I use string cheese during this time because I don't want to touch dog treats and then my own food. So string cheese worked perfect for me, and I just grab a stick and bring it to the table with me. And then I place her bed out. And then if she chooses the bed while we're eating, I'm going to reinforce her. And I'm going to periodically reinforce her throughout the meal as long as she stays there. If she gets up, nothing happens because I didn't tell her she had to be there, right? If we say place, then she has to be released. If I don't say place and I'm just rewarding her for doing good choices, which is what we're doing in this game, then I don't have to worry about it. So if she gets up, I just continue eating and I leave her be. But if I notice she's gone back to her bed, then I'm going to reinforce her again and toss her a treat. And I'm going to continue to do that throughout the meal. And we're building that choosing the bed when we are eating dinner is a good choice to make. So you can see she gets off several times. A couple times she went to get water, and sometimes she just wanders around a little bit, or she asks to go out to potty. But if she gets up, we're just gonna leave it be. So what we're doing with this game, though, is while we're not using that place word, what we are doing is building a super solid foundation for staying for longer duration. Because in this scenario, right, we're practicing for 30 plus minutes while we eat dinner. So we're building up longer durations of time. And I'm also building it in context. So what starts to happen is when you go to sit down for dinner or whatever the context is that you're doing this in, she will start to recognize that this is when we do the game. And so when she sees us getting our plates and getting stuff ready for dinner, she is often already sitting in her bed waiting because she knows that's what we expect. And that's where she's going to get reinforced. So if you can be consistent in a context and do it regularly, you will see her start to make that choice on her own where you don't even have to tell her place. So again, this just is building a really solid foundation for this skill for longer durations without the stress of you needing to be a perfect trainer in that moment while you're trying to do something else like eat. For Daphne, come when called, we will say, yes, Daphne, come. Yes, and then as soon as she turns to look at us, we're going to mark yes and start praising her all the way to us and then reinforcing that with a treat when she gets to you. It's really important that we reward her when she gets to us, but also that we mark that yes as soon as she turns to look. That's the important part that gets her moving. So here we're practicing in the backyard. It's a great way to practice in like any kind of larger fenced-in area. Just periodically while she's out there, call her, reward her, and let her go back to doing the thing she was doing. The other way you can practice this is by going into the front yard or a green space at a park, putting her on a long leash and practicing that recall. This builds her ability to recall in more distracting and new environments, not just in the backyard. So here we are doing this in the front yard, and I'm just gonna, same thing, periodically call her, reward her, let her go back.
Good job. Nice job, girlie.
Now that we've practiced her recall in the backyard and on a long leash in the front yard, we are going to kind of up the ante and try in a more difficult situation so that we are continuing to build up for any emergency situation that might happen with Daphne. So I'm here at the dog park. There are no other small dogs in the dog park, so we're going to take this opportunity with an empty park to practice her recall.
Daphne, come. Yes. Good girl. Good girl.
So I'm going to start with easy recalls because we're in a much harder, distracting environment. It's someplace new. There's lots of things for her to smell, and she loves to sniff. That spaniel really comes out in her when she's outside. So we're going to make the recalls easy. So I'm either going to wait. So what I was saying is that I'm going to make the recalls easier. So I'm either going to wait until she's already kind of looking in my direction or her head is lifted up like this from the sniff, or I'm going to make sure I'm really close to her so that she can respond easier and has less chance of getting distracted. So we're going to start with easy recall. So like right now she's pretty close, but she's in the sniff, but now she's looking up. Yes, good girl. Good girl. So while I didn't call come there, I actually did just reward her for offering me some attention, just because again, outside she gets so easily distracted because she loves a good sniff. Daphne, come. Yes, good girl. So again, another easy one. She was really, Daphne, come. Yes, good girl. Good girl. So this time I did a farther distance, but she was already kind of looking in my direction. So that made that one a little easier. So now we're going to try while she's kind of into some sniffs. So I'm actually going to get closer to make this one easier for her. Daphne, come. Yes. Good girl. Good girl. Come on. All the way. Good girl. So that's how we're going to work up to building in her recall around more distractions, especially for her, again, like sniffing. You're going to start when she's close, calling her away from those sniffs, and slowly build up more distance, because when there is more, good girl, good go potty, when there is more distraction, we're going to lower that distance. If we're going to have a far distance, then we want less distraction. So again, when she's all in her sniffs, that's going to be the hardest recall for her. So right now, while you're practicing, you're going to want to get a lot closer. Daphne, come. If she doesn't respond, we want to pause for a second again. Then we're going to go to our backup noise. Daphne! Daphne! Yes! Yes! Good girl! Good girl! And even though that was not the most beautiful recall in the world, we're still going to reward it because we want to make sure she's making this positive association with when we call come,
whether it's a beautiful recall or a slow recall, that she still gets rewarded. That is what's going to slowly build up her ability to do this and come out of those bigger distractions like sniffing.
Wait means stop and don't go any further. So when I say wait, we're drawing an imaginary line and we're telling our dogs they can't cross that line unless released. The release word is going to be the same for wait as it is for place, that free. The other big thing with wait that is different than a stay is I don't care if she's in a sit, down, or a stand, or even moving around, as long as she's not crossing that line and coming towards that line. So you can do this at stairs, so you're not getting tripped going up and down stairs, as well as at the front door, so she's not dashing out the front door or any door as soon as it's opened. So you can say, wait. Again, she can stand, sit, down. She could even move around the house if she wanted to. The only thing she's not allowed to do is be moving forward towards the door and trying to cross that line. You can also use this at other thresholds in the house that you may just not want her to follow you into a room for a time being. So you would just cue wait as you go in, and then be ready that if she does cross that line that you're going to send her right back her up out of the room, and start over. One way to build this into your daily routine or weekly routine is just anytime there is a package or something at the front door you need to get, practice. Grab a couple treats and be ready to go. Tell her to wait, open the door. If she stays, mark yes, and toss her a treat back. And one last thing about wait is that it does not need released unless you are letting her through that line. So when we were going up and out of stairs, I wanted her to come with me, so I'm going to release her. With the front door, I'm not letting her go out that door at that time, so I'm not going to release it. I'm just going to simply come in, shut the door, and leave it at that. The only time I would release her from that scenario is if I was actually going to take her out for a walk. Then you could cue wait, open the door, and then release her with the word free to go on through.
Good girl. Nice job, Daphne. Good girl. Good job, baby. Daphne, wait. Free. Good girl. Nice job. Good girl, Daphne. Good girl.
Drop it means let go of the thing that is in your mouth. The way we worked on this with her is mostly through play. She's very toy motivated, and honestly a little bit more toy motivated than food motivated. So what we did was practice playing tug, asking her to drop it as soon as she does. Then as soon as she lets go and sits down, we mark yes, and she gets the toy again. And she learned that pretty quickly, that was how she was going to get the toy back if she wanted to continue to play. So you can play tug with her like this and practice your drop it. This is kind of the one way in a formal training session to practice drop it. Good girl, you're so tough. Drop it. Yes, good girl. Good girl. Drop it. Yes, good girl. Good girl, you're so tough, huh? You're so tough, huh? Drop it. Here we were practicing with a high value chew, and you'll see I say drop it. She doesn't let go of it right away, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and toss treats to encourage her to drop the thing and get the reward. Leave it means do not go for the thing you are headed towards. So here we're practicing with just dropping some like high value treats, rewarding her for staying away from them, backing away from them. Leave it. We had some good real life leave it's along the way that she did really, really well with. Not perfect 100% of the time, but really, really good. And then here what we're doing is practicing leave it with those treats in the same way, but in a different context, specifically in the kitchen, because that is more realistic where food drops. For the reactivity on leash, you're going to do our protocol called engage, disengage. And so what this looks like is you're going to mark the engage, which is when she is looking at the thing that triggers her, whether it's a person or dog. And as soon as she looks at them, you're going to mark yes and reward her. If she doesn't respond to the yes, you can try to put the treat in front of her nose and lure her head back towards you, because we want to make sure she's getting in some muscle memory of I see the trigger and I look back at mom. If she responds, great, you reward that. That's kind of the first half of the game. The second half of the game is after you've done this for a while, you may see her start to look at the dog or the person and immediately turn to you, which she's disengaging. And so then you're going to mark and reward that. And over time, you'll start to see that happen more and more. But right now, she's still in that first stage where you're going to be marking her for just looking at the thing. What we're doing with this protocol is two things. If any of this she finds a little like scary or nervousness, right, we're pairing something good like food with it. But we're also giving her an alternative behavior. Instead of barking and lunging towards people and dogs, we're having her come back and work with us and focus on us.
Girl. Yes. Daph. Good girl. Yes. Good girl. Daphne. Yes. Good girl. So we had neighbors right over there with the dog out that she's working on. Good girl. So you saw I have to kind of toss the treats a little bit to get her attention in the beginning, but then she came right back and she's not even worrying about this. When we first started, she would have still been worried about that dog and those people over there. Yes, Daphne. Good girl. Nice job. Yes. Good girl. Yes. Good girl. Yes. Good girl. So there's some dogs walking right there. Yes. Every time she looks, I'm going to mark and reward. Yes. And we're going to do that as many times as she needs to. Yes. We're trying to catch her before she's barking or reacting. Yes. So we're rewarding her for just looking, because looking is not the problem, it's the barking. Yes. And if she has any nervous feelings about it, we're helping pair something good with seeing the dogs. And if she's just overly excited and wants to greet dogs, then we're giving her an alternative behavior. You see dogs and you focus with us instead. Yes. Good girl. That was excellent. And you'll do that until they are out of sight or she stops caring and looking at them. Yes. So we've got another dog coming over here. Yes. Again, we're going to mark yes, and then if she doesn't respond to the yes, we're going to put the treat in front of her nose and turn her head back. Yes. This one's a little harder for her because it's kind of staying put closer than the other ones were. Yes. So when there's duration, come here. It's going to be a little harder than it is if they're just moving quickly past. Yes. Good girl. And we want to make sure that when we reward her, she's facing away from the dog. So yes, right, she's turned back towards us to receive the treat. That's an important piece because we want her to get in that muscle memory. Did you not chew, Miss Daphne? We want her to get in that muscle memory of seeing the dog or the person and then looking back at us. So that's a really important piece. Yes. So you can do this with any trigger, people or dogs. Dogs definitely are more difficult for her. Yes. Another thing that I've noticed with Daphne is when we're down on the ground with her and at her level, or she's up at our level, like out on a bench, yes, she does a whole lot better responding to this and eating food than when we're standing. So I would definitely start as much as possible sitting at the park like this and watching things and doing this protocol, or sitting at home in your driveway, front yard, porch, that kind of thing, and practicing while watching the neighborhood. That way you're kind of at level with her, or on a park bench, something like that, and then slowly work up to being able to be doing this while standing. But she responds a lot better and a lot faster right now when we're kind of at her same level. So I would start like that just to get a lot of good repetition in, and the better she gets at it, then you'll be able to do this while standing and her on the ground. Yes. Good girl. Come on. There we go. Good job. Yes. Oh. So I'm going to see this. Yes. Good girl. So this one's a lot harder for her. Oh, Daphne. Yes. Good girl. Nice job. Yes. Good girl. So that was a really difficult one for her. That dog came really close. Good girl. And even though in the beginning she wasn't responding really to the food, she did a really good job of just watching. She wasn't reacting. She was just observing. So that's okay. Yes. Sometimes too for her, especially if you're standing. Daphne. Throwing the food gets her attention. And so sometimes I will do that by tossing the food kind of down in front of her face to get her attention a little bit better. Daphne, yes. Yes. Yes, good girl. Yes. Good girl. Yes. Good girl. Nice job, Daphne.
And that's a wrap on Daphne's training.